Hi kids, this is teacher Vidya. My aim is to make you all to describe the architectural features of temples, mosques and water tanks built by the rulers in medieval India. We see temples of the Nagara and Dravidian style. With Muslim rule established in India, the new rulers began building their places of worship or mosques. They brought new style elements in architecture along with them while building mosques like domes and minarets. These did not have ideals but simple verses of Quran inscribed on them on the outer walls. People also depended on rain and natural resources for water. These new rulers built water reservoirs for the people to gain popularity by helping them. Religion played a crucial role in medieval society. Hence, the rulers built temples for people as it was their duty to provide what people needed and also prove that they were incarnation of gods. These temples had elaborate features like sikara, koburam, and mandapa. These new rulers built water reservoirs to prove that they were caring rulers who looked after the welfare and needs of the common people. In regions where water was scarce, they built step wells. These structures had wide stone steps leading down to a reservoir that stored rainwater. These were called Baioli, built by the kings for their people to show they cared. Temples were usually grand structures built by kings to celebrate their martial victories. More important is temples and had ideals made of precious metals and their wealth included large amounts of precious gold, silver and gemstones. Thus, temples were targets of attacks for enemies to loot the riches and to afford the defeated king. Which is a famous Mughal monument built in Agra? Taj Mahal. They had a dome inside walls of marble with inlay of precious stones. These are the features of the famous Mughal tomb, the Taj Mahal, built by Shah Jahan for his wife Mumtaz. It took 22 years to complete and is built entirely of marble. Historical records show that the marble was brought especially from the mines of Makrana from Rajasthan. Its exquisite use of precious stones and marbles, tiles laid in intricate patterns, including the verses from the Quran, which make it look beautiful. The Mughals built massive forts, tombs, gardens, and palaces, along with the public places like sarais and hose minars. They invited artists from different regions to build their ornaments. The Indo Islamic style included domes, minarets, borrowed from Turkish style, floral and geometrical patterns with verses from the Quran along with regional styles from Rajasthan and Malwa. Mughal gardens. They laid gardens similar to Persian gardens introduced by Babur in India. The gardens were divided into four sections by water channels running with fountains between them called char bagh. The most famous Mughal gardens built by Jahangir are the Shalimar Gardens in Kashmir. The Mughal monuments were grand, built of red sandstone with features like moats to guard the palaces and forts from enemies. They used precious gems and tiles and patterns. The Delhi Sultan's structures were based upon Indo-Islamic style. However, they were simple and used local materials. Rajasthani, Malwa. Let us learn about the different empires in the architecture of different regions. The Mughal rulers used the architectural style of regions they visited or conquered in wars to add beauty to their monuments. They borrowed some styles from Vijayanagara, Karnataka. The architectural style of Akbar's tomb is inspired by Buddhist viharas. In Bengal, local rulers developed a style of making roof like a detached hut and were called the Bengala dome. When the Mughals annexed different regions, they observed and admired the architecture of the new regions and incorporated them in their monuments, giving a new fusion to Indo-Islamic style. They borrowed the charja or extended roofs, chatris or kiosks with pillars, jalis are intricately carved screens, balconies from Rajasthan, Malwa, and Gujarat regions. Rulers of these regions used the Mughal style in their architecture too. For example, the temples of Vrindavan have similar features like in the palace of the Fatehpur Sikari, a city built by Akbar after he annexed Gujarat. The Vijayanagara Empire borrowed and combined the architecture of South India as well as the Bijapur and the Golconda forts. Let us learn about the architecture in medieval India. Medieval India had no modern machinery for construction or mechanical equipment like mixers or cranes for speedy building in medieval India. Skills are required to plan a building. Mathematical skills, knowledge skills, drawing skills, writing skills, cutting and polishing. Monuments are not just the silent sentinels of past, but they also tell us about the technology used in past, the skills of the workers, the precision of the workers to draw, cut, fit and polish and probably to work the whole year around in the harsh conditions to complete the task assigned. To make structures that were bigger and grander, a new architectural features like trabetion technique, doorways, arched doorways used to bear the weight of the domes and roofs. To ensure the rocks bind together, they devised concrete by mixing limestone with the pebbles to cement the blocks of stones while building. Thank you so much, kids.